Good evening. I'm honoured to be here today to share my story with you. A little nervous, but also delighted. I was thrilled when I was chosen to be a model for breast cancer care. The charity has been a huge part of my cancer journey for over 6 years, and I feel privileged to take part today to show my gratitude for the support I've received. Breast cancer care has been like a good friend that is always there by my side when I've needed their support the most. I want to shout about how essential the services are for someone like me, and to show everyone that 6 years on, and after continuous treatment, I am still alive and feeling vibrant despite what lies ahead. In 2010, I was just 32, and my husband Paul and I had recently had our beautiful baby girl Rosie, a little sister to Sophia, aged 3. The world really did feel full of promise, and we were looking forward to our new life together as a young family. But when Rosie was only 8 months old, I felt a lump under my right breast. I put it down to recently having had a baby, but I decided to still go to my GP, who wasn't too concerned, but still referred me to get it checked out. As soon as I saw the look on the face of the man who performed the ultrasound, I began to worry. Could I really have cancer? Waiting for the results was the longest week of my life. I was convinced it was bad news and cried myself to sleep, not sharing my fears with anyone. A week later, Paul and I went back to find out my results. I heard the words that no one ever wants to hear. Janine, you have breast cancer. We were both speechless, a rare occurrence for me, and Paul was so shocked he nearly passed out on the floor. I will never forget that day. Our world turned upside down. This was the point when my life as I knew it changed in a direction that I had no influence over. I had to now not just be a mum, wife, friend, sister and daughter, but a cancer patient too. I needed to develop superpowers. I cut my hair to my shoulders in preparation to lose it. My appearance was changing, and it was just the start of the next 6 years of adjustments. I tried to carry on with everyday activities, exercise and staying busy to help me remain positive for my family, despite what cancer was throwing at me. I had a mastectomy, and the new flat-sided me tried to look on the bright side. I recovered really well, but as soon as I got back to my new normal, wham, chemo was injected into my veins whether I wanted it or not. What choice did I have with 2 young girls? I couldn't be responsible for leaving them without a mummy. When my hair started to fall out, it was a tipping point for me. I just couldn't brave having to shave it off. It felt far too final. So out came Wiggy. With the wig, I felt much more like me. Trying to explain breast cancer to young children is a challenge. But I received a book called Mummy's Lump from Breast Cancer Care and slightly adapted the story to make it more personal to our family situation. Sophia was really worried about her mummy not having any hair, but found comfort in the book and wore a bandana to be just like me and the mummy in the story. Together, we got through it, and a year after my diagnosis, I was given the all clear. This was possibly the best news after what I'd been through. However, it was very, very hard to get back to normal and stop worrying that something else could be wrong. I decided that I needed a new focus, so I retrained to become a lecturer in travel and tourism, which is a huge passion of mine. This was a really important step for me, as I felt like the old Janine was emerging. And then a few months later, as I was enjoying my new career and slowly returning to the old me, enjoying quality family time with my beautiful 2 little girls, we were dealt yet another blow. My husband Paul felt lumps in my left breast. Once again, panic set in. Surely it couldn't be cancer. Not again. I went back to the Breast Institute and I was told it was nothing, but I was convinced that something was wrong. After pushing for more tests, I was told that the cancer had spread, this time to my skin and to the other breast. It was a lot worse than I originally thought. I now had secondary breast cancer, and this left me totally heartbroken. How could I go through cancer yet again after everything I'd been through? And this time it was incurable, and I just could not believe it. So this is when my secondary breast cancer journey began. Now, I use the word journey quite loosely, as being a travel and tourism lecturer, this word generally means that you have a nice time. But with the help of my wonderful family, friends, and breast cancer care, and of course the drugs too, I knew I had all the support I needed to get through all the dark times. And so the treatment began yet again. I've since been on a few different drugs and a trial to keep the cancer at bay. But in July this year, I was unfortunately told the cancer had become resistant to my current drug and it was spreading again. This confirmed our worst fears. So cancer doesn't just affect those going through it, it also has a huge impact on family and friends. Paul, my husband, was devastated by my diagnosis and told me that he found it really hard to think of any positive thoughts. You try your best to carry on as normal, but the fear is never far from your mind. He also struggled, and with a young family, you both constantly think of the inevitable fear of the next scan, as well as what the future holds. So I underwent a second mastectomy this summer, and I'm currently receiving radiotherapy. But sadly, unfortunately, there are no further targeted drugs left for me on the NHS. I am immensely scared, but in true Janine spirit, I remain optimistic that there will be options to enable me to live a little longer, to be here for my beautiful little girls, and to see them grow up. Because what more reason do I need to help me get through this than that? Thank you. So, in all of this, the main thing is I refuse to lose hope. I would like to think that I'm living with a secondary breast cancer diagnosis and grip life's challenges and also ride with them. It's not an easy ride, but it's my ride, and I can steer it in a different direction some of the time and ride with it the rest. So before I finish, I hope you don't mind if I share some advice. My first piece of advice to anyone facing a breast cancer diagnosis is to challenge everything. Get to know what's right and wrong for you and be armed with information. Breast cancer care has been there for me from day one, from receiving leaflets when I was first diagnosed, chatting to other young mums with breast cancer on the forums and the younger women's weekends, and speaking with the nurses when I was worried about secondaries. Their care and ongoing support has been invaluable. The second piece of advice I would give, particularly to anyone with a secondary diagnosis, is to accept support and don't face it alone. I'd like to think I'm Superwoman, but realise that even Superwoman needs holding pants and backup sometimes. So finally, for a few thank yous. Firstly, I want to say a special thank you to my family and friends, who I simply could not be Superwoman without. You are all truly amazing. And of course, to my fellow models, I was honoured to be selected to be a model today, but little did I know that I was going to share the catwalk with such inspirational people. I really feel like we've made friends for life, and you all look absolutely stunning tonight. And my last thank you is to all of you. If you'd told me 6 years ago I would be standing here today telling you my story, I would not have believed you. But as I said, I wanted to get up here today and shout about how essential the services are for someone like me. Last year, the show raised an amazing £386,000 to help pay for these services. And with your support, we can raise an incredible amount again to ensure that no one has to face this disease alone. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the show.